What is up, guys? Zan from the Zan Madden YouTube channel. Today's video, we're going to be breaking down the top 3 ways that you guys can slow down corner routes. I don't care if you're facing a trip set, a bunch set, a tight set, a regular spread set. If you guys need to defend a corner route, these tips will help you guys get those stops. And after all, the corner route year after year is the most popular route in Madden. And speaking of the most popular tactics, make sure you guys are subscribed here to the channel, as it's absolutely free. We have content Monday through Friday for you guys, long form in the morning, short form in the afternoon, and we'll be breaking down the most effective tactics in Madden and the counters to them. Let's talk about the #1 way to stop a corner route in Madden. If you guys know who the corner route is going to, this is the best way to do it. You won't have to guess, you won't have to play zone. You could just call whatever coverage you want and individually man up a player and neutralize him completely. So we're gonna break this down through man-to-man and also zone with a man mixed in for a hybrid coverage. So the way that we are gonna stop corner routes is by shading them down and outside. Now, there are a couple of different ways that you guys could do this. You could universally shade your coverage down. In fact, that's the only way you can do it. And then you have a choice. You guys can either universally shade outside, which is going to make every player on the field play outside leverage on their receiver if it's a man-to-man coverage, or you could go ahead on the individual level. You'll note that if you hit A for individual, every receiver icon pops up. You could choose the player that you think is the corner route, choose him and shade him outside relative to the screen. So a corner route would be going to the right, we'll shade right. And that's gonna make the player that is in man coverage, in this case, Kyler Gordon, play him not only down, but also outside, which is where most players like to throw their corner routes. So when this ball is snapped, you're gonna see that he's gonna stay in the hip pocket. And even when he gets bumped into, you see Gordon is there to make this play. He stays all over this route. It is a very, very good way to neutralize a corner route when you know it's coming. So let me show you guys another way that you can do this here. This time we're gonna be breaking this down out of zone. In fact, you guys can go into plays that maybe have this stock, maybe dollar cover 3 lock. In this particular playbook, I don't have cover 3 lock available to me, but I do have this play cover 3 sky, in which my slot corner on the right is blitzing. I'm going to take him out of the play and make him kind of the lock defender, the guy that is going to man up a player that I want to neutralize. So in this instance, we've got this mug defense here, and I've got Harmon. This is actually a safety. Doesn't really matter what ratings you guys have for man coverage on this. In fact, when you're shading, it kind of takes the ratings out of it because you're telling them exactly where to play. We are going to go ahead and run him as the blitzer. We're going to man up the player that we think is blitzing. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to shade our coverage down, and we are going to shade outside. This is going to, for the purpose of shading down, shade our purples into hard flats. If you guys don't like that, you don't necessarily have to do that. You can always go and change him back to a purple if that's something you would like. But what it does is it makes sure that Harmon is playing the down outside shade on the player that he is manned up to. So if it's a corner route, you're going to see we're going to get the jam. He's going to stay on it. And even when that route beats zones, you notice that he's all over it. Now, right there, we had an outside third that was able to take it away as well. But you guys know that when we go to the short side of the field, typically this is going to end up being a little bit more problematic because a street corner combo will always clear out the deep zone. So this is the meta that you guys are typically going to see on the short side of the field. We're going to go ahead and do the exact same setup. I'm going to man up our corner route. We're going to shade down. We're going to shade outside. Now you're going to see that with this streak to AJ Brown, it's going to clear out the deep sideline, but our shaded man is all over it. And you see that if I had 4 hands for 2 controllers, I'm clicking on and intercepting that all day long. It is a very, very easy way to neutralize a corner, but that's when you know it's coming. The truth is, a lot of times when you face these compression-based offenses, whether it's bunch, whether it's tight, any compression offense in general, you oftentimes have to guess who the corner route is, especially if they have a hot route master. So it might be the inside guy running a streak and the outside guy running a corner. Sometimes it's the inverse of that, where the outside guy is the pull route and the inside guy runs the corner. And hell, even sometimes you're gonna have the tight end running a corner route. So definitely are going to be a situation where you can't always pinpoint the exact player that is running the corner route. That is where this tip is going to work in. We're going to be talking about zone here. So what you're going to do is you're going to turn base align on. You're going to want to go down to your flats, and you're going to set them to 30 or 25. And in fact, I've noticed since the most recent title update, you really need 30. I've been seeing a lot of players say 25, 25, 25. I think 25 is too low. I really do. In fact, if you were to take a look at the B-roll footage, I'm pretty sure Jimmy threw that in. You may have noticed that one of those throws, it looked like there was a little bit of room behind the zone drop. Those were 25-yard drops in the B-roll. It's effective, but when in doubt, use 30, because that's really going to help you out a fair amount. With this, it's really important to know that not only do you want a 30-yard zone drop, but you also need to make sure that the player that is in that blue is base aligned and oftentimes even backed up further. So you can either universally back up your entire coverage, or we can go ahead and do the individual thing. So we talked about how to individually shade. With individual backup, you're going to go Y, A for individual, the B receiver is the outside guy, and you're going to flick the right stick up, and that's going to back off that corner more often than not. Sometimes I will say that there are bugs in the game where if you're not careful, you're going to note that the players don't individually back off. This will happen sometimes when your opponent audibles or flips their play. If that happens to you, you'll need to go and manually click onto the player. But again, YA icon, back them up. You see, I just individually backed up one player, and that's going to help out significantly. Now, when we run street corner flat, you're going to see that he's in a 30-yard setting. He's dropping all the way back. And you see that if we go to throw that, he's all over it. Again, I click on, you're going to have an interception pretty easily. One thing that you will have to be careful with this is that sometimes to the wide side of the field, this will not work nearly as effectively. The good news is on the wide side of the field, you also don't really have to worry about outside thirds not doing their job. But you'll see right here, I've got a 30-yard setting. I backed up my guy individually, and we're playing kind of a cover 2 shell. If the pass rush doesn't get home, there is sometimes the opportunity for that route to get behind. You see, I have kind of an up pass lead over the top of his head. So if the bunch is on the wide side of the field, what I would honestly do is probably go with just a cover 3 shell, because you really don't have to worry about the corner route getting open unless they all of a sudden motion a guy out. At that point, that guy is going to pull, and you're going to need a 30-yard setting, which is going to be possible in this cover 3 shell by putting the slot corner in the blue and backing him up. So now in this situation, if they are pulling the outside zone, at least now you have a zone that can get out to the sideline. Again, on the wide side, though, it can clear it. You see how slow he backpedals. That is a real pain in the rear to deal with. And this is one of the reasons why EA fixing the box check is so necessary, because we really don't have correct matching behavior right now against compression. And until we get that, it's going to be a little bit rough. But for right now, these are the options available to you. Now, the last one that I want to give you guys is actually going to be the curl flat setting. And this only works with the safety in the curl flat. You can set this to 30. And I'm also going to let you guys know that this is not necessarily going to end up being something that you can just call every down. In fact, this is more or less something that you guys might utilize while putting pressure on the quarterback, because this is going to guard, you know, a decent window. So you see here, I'm going to flip my cover 3. So this guy is in the 30-yard purple. If you wanted to, you could always go ahead and mabel your coverage this way, where this guy plays a true hard flat and this guy plays the 25-yard or the 30-yard. But you may even want to kind of like move him out a little bit, and that'll help him get just a little bit better width. The difference between a zone drop blue and a zone drop purple is that the purples play inside more, the blues play the sideline more. It's not necessarily the worst thing in the world, especially if, you know, that seam is a little tender. You're going to see right here, if I try to go and throw that over the top of his head, you see how the 25 or the 30-yard purple was there. This will be pretty helpful. Obviously, you know, we also had an outside third there, but again, if we have a pull route that we're worried about here in this situation, you're going to have Jalen Johnson cleared out of the play, and you're only going to have one player that can make this. So a 25 or 30-yard purple and a cover 3 sky is actually not bad. Now, again, you could go ahead and take away the hard flat with a hard flat adjustment on your slot corner. You could also go ahead and maybe you are struggling with guarding him anyways. Maybe you're in a situation where, you know, you got this purple to Brisker out there, and sometimes it's still getting over the top. You can always fuse the shaded down and shaded outside man with a zone drop. This will still apply. So when we snap this ball, you'll see that we got the jam, he's playing him, and we also have the man-to-man, or the purple zone rather, that is able to break over. You saw right there, it did a fine job of being able to make a play on this. So you guys can fuse the man coverage adjustment along with the zone drops in this as well, and you'll see that we've got the ability to take away a lot of those popular throws. This is a great adjustment. A lot of people sleep on the 25 purple. because it does tend to hang out on the numbers rather than closer to the sideline. But it does a good job of, taking away some other reads as well. Sometimes you'll have routes that break inside. Hanging out inside is not always the worst deal. If it's a long throw, if you're putting pressure on the quarterback, if you have to make them throw the ball a little bit earlier, he can still impact the throw. And even if they throw it late, you see he's able to kind of get over here as well and get a hand on the ball. So you guys have a lot of different options available to you here as it pertains to stopping corner routes until they can fix the box check. Of course, once they fix the box check, it's going to be great. If you guys want to take a look at my workaround for the box check, I actually did a video this past week on how to fix match against bunch. You guys should check that out. I'll leave the link in the description for you guys as well to help you guys get to that. But I hope that you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, make sure you guys give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, drop a comment below, and I'll see you guys later this afternoon with our next YouTube short. You guys enjoy your weekend. We'll see you guys Monday with our next YouTube long. Until then, this is Zan. Get in the lab and good luck.